This is frolic footage. Scene 1, take 1. Frolic in Southland Church.
Okay, this one's for Gabby.
My thoughts on what an ideal marriage should be is when a man and woman come together in a way that glorifies God, in a much stronger way, in a more visible way, in a truer way than they could if the man and woman were separate. That's, in my mind, the biblical reason for getting married. Sorry. But an ideal marriage is one that's loaded with self-sacrifice, living for the other person, again forsaking all others, not only in the prospect of giving your love to somebody, to another woman, but forsaking all others in the aspect that among everybody that you meet, man, woman, whatever, that your love for that person is second to nobody else other than God. Honestly, when I was growing up, I really had no visual idea on what my wife would look like. I think I just wanted someone to share my experiences with.
I always had my grandparents to look up to as far as marriage. They were married, I believe, maybe 63 years before my grandpa passed, and they just had a wonderful marriage. They were both very strong Christians, and I asked Papa one time what made the marriage so good, like what made it last, and he said that they just let each other be who they are and didn't try to change them. And they weren't like gushy or anything like that, but you could just, when you saw them, you saw that they loved each other very much. Like when Grandpa would just hold her hand, that kind of thing. Just very sweet, quiet love.
You're gonna hear two different stories on the first time that we actually visually noticed each other.
Our stories do differ, the way that we met. I remember the very first time I saw him, I was working at the post office at ASU, and I was working with our mutual friend, Joel. And so Garrett came up to talk to him, I guess about the house or whatever. And like when I saw him, I was just like, whoa, he's hot. And so he left, and I went up to Joel. I was like, who was that? And he said, Garrett Lively. That name is just hush.
First time I met Alana, I think she may call me out on this, but I remember meeting her at the Glen Meadows Lake House. I was there. Josh Lilly was the college minister at the time, and he invited me there, and so I showed up, and I just remember there was this one particular girl there who just seemed to be having a whole lot of fun. Was very loud, and I noticed her across the room. She came over and introduced herself, and I introduced myself to her. And when I started thinking of her as a potential mate was this one day she came over and began to clean my house for me. And I know it's horrible, but for some reason in that moment, in that act of service, I just began to see, that there was really true and honest and deep love behind her actions.
I think Garrett's fulfilled my ideas for what I wanted. Actually, a lot more than I could ever imagine. I remember as probably like an 18-year-old or 20-year-old, sometime when I was early college, I'd been through small relationships, and so I would write things down of what I decided I wanted through not getting it from that person or whatever. And things that included height and included just personality traits and everything, and he has far exceeded that completely. And he's just an amazing person, and just someone you look up to, and automatically like when you meet him. And he's such a goofball, which is perfect for me because I'm extremely random, and he handles it very well.
Some of my favorite things about Alana, just to get this out of the way, number one is her laugh. For this unspoken reason, she just makes me smile. Like, she makes me laugh. She makes me just forget I can go in with a hard day, having had a hard day, and just I'll be around her for about 10 minutes, and I'm just smiling on the inside.
No matter what, he can always make me laugh. And I can have a really hard day at work and just be in a horrible mood and come in and I want to be angry, but he'll do something that will just set me off and laugh, and it's incredible. And he, other than just making me laugh, he is one of the most patient guys I've ever met. His laugh, his smile, his heart is incredible, and it's so big that everybody that knows him, like, he will love anybody. And like, God gives us the commandment to love your neighbors as yourself, and he does that. I mean, he loves, and he loves very well, and I'm very blessed to be able to gain a lot of that love.
Falling in love.